Hey everybody, I just want to show you something that I have been working on for a little while, trying to ease some time up for us. We were given a common unit assessment um, standard analysis by central office to fill out for each of our units tests, and originally it was going to create a very time consuming task for us. So um, uh, initially wanted to just save time. And now I have um, manipulated an Excel sheet to hopefully reduce a lot of the stress and time that this sheet could potentially bring on. So I'm going to show you literally start to finish and show you some troubleshooting stuff as well with it. This is very easy to adapt to any content. And I already have seventh grade math, language arts, and social or science and social studies set up with functioning documents to use. And it prints out a nice, neat, clean copy with all the names identified of the students. Because on this question right here, what is the focus standard? It says identify who did not meet mastery. So it really reduces the time spent on this one alone, as well as all of this information up here in these boxes. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look for my standards. Well, actually, let's backtrack a little bit. I'm going to change the name of my unit. So what I've done is I've made everything a drop down menu. So my units are listed in a drop down menu. There, I have all of my standards in a drop down menu. So it should be very easy for me to find. I have LS11, and my second standard is LS. Where's a little further down, or two. These were knowledge questions and knowledge questions. These were actually reasoning questions. Okay, so this was questions 1 through 10. Okay, so in my drop down menu here, I have 1 through 5, 6 through 10. I have these listed out preset for those of you that chunk, but we can also eliminate the drop down boxes if you are a content that doesn't chunk. So for example, social studies in the 7th grade, language arts, and math, they don't chunk their questions, so I can eliminate that box as a drop down to where they can type those in. But I want the drop down box, so I'm going to go down here where I have the option, and I'm just going to insert a row. And it did it above. So let's, I'm going to do questions 1 through 10. And then I'm going to do another drop down box or another box and do questions 11 through 20. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back up here to my drop down box, and it should include those. See, it did not include those in my box. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep my box highlighted. I'm going to go to data, data validation, click data validation. I've got list. It doesn't need to be on anything other than list. And then you're going to click this little box here with the arrow. Okay, so now it's highlighted your boxes. So you're just going to include the boxes that you need. And you're good to go. And you hit OK. And now when you come back up here, that's part of your drop-down box, 1 through 10. And it disappeared on me. So let's do that again. Oh, I didn't copy and paste. That's what I didn't do. So instead of redoing that whole setup, I can just copy and paste and it would add those in. So now you can see I have the 11 through 20 and 1 through 10. Okay, so the next one is format of questions. Again, there's 4 different responses here: multiple choice, short answer, ERQs, and performance task. And so for this assessment, because our other standards will hit other formats of questioning, and then we have the analysis. So our mastery is 80%, 80% and above. Partial is 60 to 79, and not yet is 60 and below. So those will set back in. So I already know whatever happens here with these numbers, I'm going to address components, because when we come back from spring break, it's going to be really easy for me to address those components of that in the next little part. So I'll be able to get that chunked up. Okay, so these numbers are going to be really easy to find and get, and I'll get those in just a minute. But this part is the part that gives people headaches. And when you're doing this by paper or any other way, it's just very time consuming. So I'm going to minimize this for a minute, and I'm going to pull up my GradeCam. GradeCam, I've learned so much about GradeCam over the last couple weeks that it's, I'm extremely excited about it, probably way more than I should be. So my test is down here, cells. I'm just going to click on that and open that up. And to help me out a little bit more, I'm going to go set my performance bands to what those other marks are for the mastery, the not yet, and the partial. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to go to settings. And on that, you're going to find performance bands. Now, your alls will have 5 marks, 5 of these performance bands. And it'd be like A, B, 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 and I can't even remember all the others, but you're going to delete 2 of them, and then you're just going to reset them to mastery, M, partial, P, not yet, N, Y, or N. It doesn't matter what you choose to do. It's up to you. And then you're just going to type it in, and you can change this to whatever you need. But for the analysis purposes, you know, why not just go ahead and change it to where it's going to pull the analysis the way we want it for that document. So you're going to set it to 80 to 100, and then you can change the color. Look at all those awesome colors you can change it to. And then partial is 60 to 79, and not yet is 0 to 60, or 59, sorry. And you can change each of those to the different colors as well. It's up to you. I personally like the green, yellow, red, kind of the same system with the flashlight, or not the flashlight, stoplight. Okay, here we go. Notice I'm not a fan of hearing myself talk. Okay, here we go. So we have our document, and now we need to pull reports. So I'm going to click on reports. And I'm going to go to the students, and I'm going to go by standard. So look how awesome this is. And it has all of the students that took the test listed. Okay. Now I'm going to come over here and I'm going to click download into an Excel form. And then I'm going to open this back up. Okay, so while that's pulling that up, you're going to have 2 sheets open within this one document. So we have sheet 1, and enable editing now that that's popped up. So I'm going to minimize that for a second. So I got sheet 1, that's where my document is, and then I got sheet 2. This is where I'm going to pull my names to. Okay, this is the function that we're going to be using in just a minute. So now on here, I'm going to pull my first target, and I'm going to show you one target. but I'm going to do this for both targets because I need to make sure I address both targets because they're both focus targets in this unit. So I'm going to copy the whole section there. I'm going to go back to my other document and I'm going to paste. Okay. So now I can organize this document however I want. So I'm going to go to data and I'm going to go to sort. I'm going to sort, let's see here, I got headers on my topics and I'm going to go by standard, smallest, and it doesn't matter about alphabetical order at this point. Okay, so I'm just going to show you this, even though there's only 2 students there in the not yets, but I'm going to show you anyway. So I'm going to write down A2 to A3. Okay, so I'm going to go down here. This function needs to be in the same column as the names. So when we put it, if we have to make sure it's over in that same column as those names are. Okay, so right here on the first one, I have my targets or my rows that I need. Okay, so I'm going to type in my two groups. So notice I have equals, text join, capital letters, parentheses, quotes, semicolon, quotation. There's a space in between the semicolon and the quotation, and then a space in between there, true, A2, colon, A3. Okay, so here's the cool part, is it pulls those names. Now, I know there's just 2, but when there's more, it means way more. I'm going to copy those. I'm going to click on them and copy it. I'm going to go back to sheet 2, and I'm going to paste. Now, all of those names would have transferred. So this is LS1-1, not yet. Okay. Now, obviously, this is set up for way more names. So I've got a whole nother standard to deal with here. So I'm going to manipulate my rows here. And let me go back to where I can get it. So I'm going to unmerge. All right. And I'm going to take this row right here and make it merged. I'm going to move all my stuff to where it's all nice and neat and wrap my text. And I'm going to create this merged. And now I'm going to do my partials. Okay. So now I'm going to fix my text here. I'm going to go up. Okay, so I'm going to go up here and I'm going to look at my rows. I have A4 to A20. Okay, so right here to right here. And I'm going to go down here to this function and I'm going to type in A4 colon A20. I'm going to delete the exclamation point and I'm going to hit enter. I love that. That is like way more exciting to me than I'm sure it will be, but I'm hoping it's going to be as useful to you as it is me. So now all those names are in there. I'm going to wrap my text. I'm going to get it to the left and I'm going to get it in here. Let's see here, play with this for just a second. These are my LS1-1 partial mastering. And you can change the font to where it gets all of them in there nice and neat into the box that you want it to fit in. You can play with the placement of it and do whatever you need to do. So that is how you use this document. I love my borders here. So I'm going to go up here and even more. I like it to be highlighted and underlined. You don't need to make it red because when you print it out, it's going to be black and white anyway. So that doesn't matter. But I'm about to end my time. So I'm going to do another video and show you how to do it again and troubleshoot some more. But hopefully this will help you all as much as it helps me.